What kind of technology do you think already exists, but the government is keeping a secret? I remember reading about a breakthrough material that was lightweight, soft, flexible, heat-resistant, that could be applied to walls, engine compartments, etc. 1/8 thick, that had the sound reduction ability of 3 of reinforced concrete. I'm sure that was an exaggeration. It was in process to be added to cars to reduce engine noises and road noises for a quieter ride, and to enter into architecture for quieter housing, apartments, condos, hotels. The last time I did a dig to find out about it, the company rumored to have created it had been bought out by the US government. Reliable missile defense systems. Ukraine has shown us that obsolete Patriot batteries can intercept the unstoppable Russian hypersonic missiles, and they've only improved since then. The thing is, if it's really easy to intercept ICBMs and other missile systems, the nuclear deterrent is gone. That means a conventional WWI is feasible for the time being, since we wouldn't just get bombed back to the Stone Age. It's one of those things that's probably best left ambiguous, and I hope we never need to find out. My grandpa worked at Lockheed Martin in the 90s, and one day when me and my grandma are discussing the hypersonic weapons that Russia has, he kept saying obsolete. When I asked him why, he said that he knew for a fact that the US had functional but experimental laser weapons in the 90s, so 30 years later I could only imagine what they have locked up behind closed doors. I would think they've been able to reverse engineer a UFO by now. I believe that we have figured out how to manipulate gravity. I think the TikTok video, where that craft flew into a military training area, is proof of that. The video got leaked or selectively released as a way to showcase what the military really has to our adversaries while maintaining plausible deniability as a UFO. Such a device could give us cleaner energy, but it would absolutely wreck the world economy if released. 1. Weapons in space. Probably tactical hypersonic ICBMs that they can launch at any target to strike in a matter of minutes. 2. Quantum computers that they are currently working on to make use of in the form of AI. It's a new arms race, basically. 3. The tech to give everyone affordable health care independent of employment. USA only. The rest of the first world already knows this. About 10-15 years ago, there was a new report about Israel having something like shields like in sci-fi for RPGs. The RPG would be in range, and it would trigger the explosive and detonate away from the vehicle the RPG would be turned into. A ballistic kinetic force only. No explosive. It seems the news report and a lot of the shared videos have all disappeared. Encryption breakers that can quickly de-encrypt even AES to 5.6 and stuff. Also far more advanced AI than what's known. Also probably some highly advanced missile defense capability and Gen 7 fighters that have already flown. They were flying the F-117 in the late 70s. Also, advanced anti-drone jamming capability that can do area denial for all drones not if friendly. While considering that light and radar-absorbing materials exist such as carbon nanotube arrays, there are probably spy satellites orbiting all over the place, probably from several governments. Things you wouldn't be able to see with telescope or locate without a specific signal frequency. Makes me think of The Expanse and the stealth-coated asteroids. If you watch the original Disclosure Project witness testimony video Z, you will understand that we have alien technology, anti-gravity, faster than light travel, and free energy. They don't really want us to use it. We could have cleaned up the planet by now and phased out the use of oil. Had a friend work in research on energy storage. He supposed the government most definitely has ways to store incredible amounts of energy into super small non-nuclear devices, but they're fragile and it's freakishly dangerous. Like James Bond cigarette lighter grenade but the size of a few angry grains of salt. Advanced VR technology, like in sci-fi, with virtual worlds and everything. It's an absurd amount of power to keep running for extended periods of time. So they don't really use it to train soldiers and whatnot, or maybe they do, but it's like some super secret unit or whatever. Cloaking for radar. Saw a publication recently on metamaterials made that can make something invisible in microwave radiation wavelengths. If you can do it for microwaves, I bet you can do it for larger wavelengths. Literally, my first thought was, damn, I bet this would be useful for radar. I secretly believe that Putin or someone has the technology to down airplanes and has used it several times. There have been too many airplanes that have crashed without reason or gone completely missing. This would be a power that would be frightening and destabilizing in peace or war. Chief from Chobits is real, and we people using AI humanoids at bases to help with tasks. When crazy shit gets leaked, it's because the hander hit them or hurt their feelings. So they got back at them to show their love, as they don't understand the whole concept of relationships yet. Directed energy weapons are the obvious counter to drones, and I feel certain the US is way more advanced than we know in that area. The US has poured money into a lot of energy weapon research, and a lot of these programs get classified just when they're getting interesting. Fusion. Lead the whole world dances to the Dino juice beat. Take that away and instead have limitless, clean energy, and they literally can't work out how to make as much money out of it as from the oil economy. Zero-point quantum vacuum energy devices and associated anti-gravity or inertial mass reduction devices. I believe we've had these technologies since the late 1800s, but they've been deemed too disruptive, particularly to the petrodollar war machine economy. During some of those UFO discussions in Congress, they kept using the phrase non-human intelligence rather than alien extraterrestrial. My crazy idea is that there are top-secret AI models full OGI that have been used to develop breakthrough tech. I DK about specifics of anything, but I'm pretty confident that any time the DOD announces some fancy new jet or whatever, they're giving us old news. There's already an even fancier, high-tech jet flying around they don't want us to know about yet. I'm sure there's plenty, but it's more boring than you might think. When I was a young man, I was in military intelligence, and there was some pretty nifty capability back then that was top secret, but is now far surpassed by what hobbyists can do. Nothing, really. The number of people involved in basically anything can't keep gigantic secrets very well. It's how I know the moon landings weren't faked. Tens of thousands of people worked on it. They can't all be keeping that secret. An already working and deployed version of the MKV. It seems strange to me that countries like the US don't have any ballistic defense system there. Works that is not the Aegis. Nothing, because the money it costs to produce it. All those highly advanced bunkers and underground headquarters with laser doors and alien-looking technology you see in movies would cost way more than anyone wants to spend. Or I hire individual, that if an everyday citizen just got to look at what the government has without knowing anything about it, just seeing it would scare the shit out of you and give you nightmares. Probably much better AI based on Google DeepMind technology. It's a small step from winning at chess and go to winning on the battlefield in war simulations. I'm sure every government has these in play. It wouldn't surprise me if microdrones were a thing that the government uses to spy on people. They could be the size of houseflies. You would never know. And they would have no incentive to tell you. Hacking backdoors to enemy countries' computer systems. They know that if they use them, then they get patched and become useless. So they save their best ideas for if they're ever in a serious bind. I have literally no fear of the government being organized and focused enough to have developed any secret technology that doesn't involve them being re-elected. Corporations, on the other hand, I think it's cloaking technology using metamaterials. Back in 2008-ish, we started hearing about this emerging tech out of some university labs like Duke, as well as DARPA. Then seemingly nothing. The Chinese government, plenty. But in the West, I think there must be much more nifty stuff in the hands of private corporations that just sell its fruits to governments. I suspect we could neutralize any nukes Russia and China could try lobbing at us. But we don't tell them in order to allow them to feel they have an equal place at the table. Anti-gravity. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. Earth is constantly pulling everything towards it. There got to be a way to flip that switch. I think a human's probably been cloned. Maybe mind control via radio waves, triggering someone to do something. The Vegas shooter comes to mind. kind of unexplanatory. A rod of God style system. Would be surprised if it 2 rounds of it in orbit, but would not be surprised if someone got something so relatively simple in orbit. They've invented for dimensional beings and they spy on us, but we don't even know they're there. I have a PDF about it if people want to copy. Only £100 per download. I feel like the weapons being sent to Ukraine are the old out-of-date gear. Still effective fortunately, but they wouldn't get the top-tier shit for obvious reasons. I'm thinking maybe moderately effective weather technology, possibly missile defense systems, some kind of space-based military systems, etc. Nothing earth-shaking. Some kind of rapidly maneuvering multi-thruster, pulsarjet, low observability, blended body UAV. I bet we see it from DARPA or Skunkworks in the next few years. Trump is a Russian robot that the CIA lost control of this time. The moon was positioned as it is, so the aliens don't have to look at this mess every day. The ability to successfully clone humans and or grow vital human organs, combat viable laser weapons, reliable portable fusion engines and generators, time travel, and they just keep preventing WW3 without changing the course of human history too much, to where they never actually invent time travel. Nothing. They're too incompetent to have anything like that. Now private contractors, especially in the military, are a whole different ballgame. Probably some insane stealth planes, way better than the F-22, also laser weapons, hypersonic space missiles probably, micro-armed drones. As we've seen in Ukraine, we've had the ability to shoot down hypersonic missiles that supposedly travel so fast they can't be shot down.